Welcome to the masterclass of autoimmune obstetrics. Today, we are diving into an incredibly fascinating and frankly high stakes topic: systemic lupus erythematosus in pregnancy. We're going to map out this perilous yet remarkably manageable journey using crystal clear, high yield clinical data. Whether you're a master clinician, a rheumatology board candidate, or just a focused learner who loves human biology, we are going to visualize this journey like never before, exploring the exact biochemical armor that protects both mother and child. Think of this agenda as our clinical roadmap. We're going to navigate the 6-month golden rule, the placental biochemical shield, our pharmacological guardians and teratogens, fetal heart block monitoring, and finally, the postpartum trap. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the 6-month golden rule. This is where our journey begins, right at the clinical crossroads. I want you to picture active SLE as a dangerous, fiery dragon. Now, to guarantee the absolute safest passage for a pregnancy, this dragon must sleep undisturbed, meaning clinical remission, for at least 6 full months before conception is even attempted. Prematurely stopping maintenance therapy, that's probably the single greatest clinical mistake you can make here. If the dragon wakes up at conception, maternal and fetal complication risks just skyrocket. Bottom line, the dragon must remain asleep. So what does a sleeping dragon actually look like in practice? Well, this preconception quiescence requires absolute precision. We're talking about a patient stable on hydroxychloroquine, capping prednisone at a low 5 milligrams a day or less, and keeping urine protein strictly under 500 milligrams per 24 hours. Oh, and this is absolutely crucial. You've got to stop any renin-angiotensin blockade, like ACE inhibitors, right at or before conception. Why? Because those meds are notorious for causing oligohydramnios if the fetus is exposed in the 2nd and 3rd trimesters. We definitely can't have that. Moving on to section 2, let's explore Mother Nature's brilliance, the placental biochemical shield. Let's zoom in microscopically right into the placental syncytiotrophoblast. It is literally a cellular masterpiece. I want you to imagine a glowing, golden molecular gatekeeper standing right at the placental barrier. This is the 11-beta hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase type 2 isoenzyme, or 11-beta HSD2 for short. It acts as a dedicated, custom-built biochemical bodyguard specifically designed to protect the fetus from maternal glucocorticoids. So, how does this golden gatekeeper actually pull this off? Well, on the maternal side, the mother's liver converts prednisolone into active prednisolone to fight the lupus. It's highly immunosuppressive, doing exactly what we need it to do for mom. But as those active molecules rush toward the placenta, our gatekeeper, that 11-beta HST2 enzyme, rapidly cleaves and inactivates them into inert cortisone before they can ever lay a finger on the developing baby. This is exactly why low-dose prednisolone is so incredibly safe in pregnancy. It's just a beautiful natural filtration system at work. All right, section 3, guardians and teratogens. Let's step inside the pharmacology vault. In this vault, we've clearly separated our pharmacological weapons. On one side, we have our luminous green shields of safety, and on the other, our flashing red hazards of teratogenicity. Listen, you never disarm your castle gates before a siege. You have got to maintain safe guardians like hydroxychloroquine, azathioprine, and low-dose prednisone. They are the armor for 2 lives. Conversely, the red hazard tier, medications like mycophenolate mofetil, methotrexate, and cyclophosphamide, these are strictly prohibited. Literally black box teratogens that must be completely discontinued long before conception. Let's take a closer look at the unique magic of azathioprine, our preferred non-biologic DMARD in pregnancy. Now you might be wondering, wait, it crosses the placenta? So how on earth is it safe? Well, it acts as a brilliantly targeted shield. Even as it enters the fetal circulation, the fetal liver naturally lacks the specific enzyme required to convert azathioprine into its active toxic metabolite. So, the mother gets the life-saving immunosuppression she needs, but the baby remains completely unharmed. Talk about incredible biological design, right? But then, on the flip side, we have this absolutely devastating statistic, 25%. Mycophenolate mofetil, or MMF, is a severe teratogen. It causes profound birth defects, primarily facial and ear abnormalities, in roughly a quarter of all pregnancies exposed to it in utero. This is a flashing red hazard that demands strict, non-negotiable discontinuation well before a patient even tries to get pregnant. Navigating deeper into the pregnancy, we hit section 4, fetal heart block monitoring. We need to illuminate the specific, hidden risks posed by autoantibodies to the developing fetal heart. Let's map out our exact surveillance strategy. In the first trimester, we're facing a really high risk of disease exacerbation. By 12 weeks, we universally initiate low-dose aspirin as a shield against preeclampsia. Then, we enter this highly critical danger zone. From 16 to 26 weeks, we deploy aggressive fetal cardiac monitoring with weekly echocardiograms. After that, we can space it out to biweekly until 34 weeks. But why the intense weekly monitoring during that specific 16 to 26-week window? It's all because of the looming threat of neonatal lupus syndrome. If a mother carries anti-Ro, also known as SSA, or anti-LA, SSB, antibodies, these specific autoantibodies can slip right across the placenta. Once there, they can trigger neonatal lupus in the infant. This can manifest as a cutaneous rash, terribly low platelets, or, most catastrophically, an irreversible congenital heart block. This brilliantly illustrates our line of defense. This exact board-tested flowchart dictates our clinical response. If a pregnancy is SSA or SSB positive, this algorithm absolutely mandates those weekly fetal echocardiograms from week 16 to 26. We are meticulously tracking the PR interval, hunting for any early signs of heart block or myocardial inflammation so we know exactly what's happening inside that tiny fetal heart. But here's the thing, we don't just sit back and monitor passively, we actively prevent. Check out this number, 7.5%. In a brilliant display of secondary prevention, the PATCH study proved that if a mother has previously had a child with heart block, initiating 400 milligrams of hydroxychloroquine early in her next pregnancy slashes the risk of recurrent fetal heart block from around 20% all the way down to just 7.5%. Hydroxychloroquine really is the universal anchor protecting these pregnancies. Finally, let's move to our last section, the postpartum trap. Because honestly, even after a beautifully successful delivery, the journey isn't quite over. We have one last danger zone to navigate. Here is the crucial takeaway. A massive, sudden immunological shift happens right after birth, creating a highly dangerous postpartum trap. Vigilant surveillance is absolutely mandatory here. We've got to monitor the mother closely for immediate disease exacerbations, because those postpartum flare-ups can be fierce as hormones rapidly shift. And we can't forget the infant. We actually have to extend neonatal heart block monitoring for up to a full year postpartum, because believe it or not, a delayed presentation of heart block is entirely possible. By mastering these high-yield molecular defenses and timelines, you literally hold the power to successfully guide both mother and child through one of medicine's ultimate clinical challenges. So I want to leave you with a final provocative thought. Knowing these biochemical shields and precise danger zones, will you be the architect of a safe journey for two lives? Keep this framework in your back pocket, and you'll always be ready. Thanks for joining me in this explainer, and keep learning.